News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Lisa Mateo.
And I'm Karen Moskow.
Karen, we begin with a high-stakes meeting at the White House later today. European and NATO leaders will join President Volodymyr Zelenskiy in Washington for talks with President Trump on ending Russia's war in Ukraine. President Trump is expected to outline terms for a potential peace deal that's discussed with Vladimir Putin, with Washington likely to focus on territorial concessions demanded by Russia. Here's what Volodymyr Zelenskiy said ahead of today's meeting.
It's important that America agrees to work with Europe to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, and we are very thankful to the United States and to the President for such signal.
Ukraine's President Zelenskiy. Now, the meeting follows a weekend call among allies during which President Trump is said to have told European leaders he's open to U.S. involvement in providing security guarantees for Ukraine.
Meanwhile, Lisa, Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is holding out hope for a ceasefire in Ukraine, and he spoke on NBC's Meet the Press.
It was agreed to by all that the best way to end this conflict is through a full peace deal. There's no doubt about that. I mean, who would be against the fact if tomorrow we came to you and said we have a full peace deal and it's done? I think that's the best way to end the war. Now, whether there needs to be a ceasefire on the way there, well, we've advocated for that. Unfortunately, the Russians, as of now, have not agreed to that.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio made the comments on NBC's Meet the Press. You can catch the program Sunday afternoon on Bloomberg Radio.
Well, unlike Zelenskyy's last meeting at the White House, Karen, the Ukrainian leader will be accompanied by European leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron, UK's Keir Starmer, and Germany's Friedrich Merz. We get the latest on the meeting from Bloomberg News senior writer Stephanie Baker.
The thing is that Trump seems to parrot the last person he spoke to. He's repeating the narrative that he last. So he went into the summit having just agreed the sort of negotiating position with the Europeans, ceasefire first, and then a peace deal later. So the question is, after he meets with European leaders today, is he going to change position again? On the security guarantees, that is a major shift in terms of the U.S. Being willing to provide some kind of security guarantees. I mean, in reality, Russia shouldn't have any kind of veto over that. It shouldn't really be part of the negotiations. But the fact that the Trump administration is willing to do that, and Witkoff said that Putin would be willing to allow it, is significant.
Well, Bloomberg News senior writer Stephanie Baker says President Trump also told allies he wanted to reach a deal quickly and would urge Ukraine to agree to come to one with the goal of holding a Putin-Zelensky meeting within a week.
Lisa, President Trump's trade advisor, Peter Navarro, is slamming India for buying Russian oil. In the Financial Times, Navarro wrote that India's purchases of Russian oil are, quote, opportunistic and deeply corrosive of a global effort to isolate the Kremlin. He added American consumers buy Indian goods, and he said India uses those dollars to buy discounted Russian crude.
Well, more than 3 months after the U.S. and U.K. agreed to the first of a string of deals to reduce tariffs, many trading partners are still waiting for the rhetoric to become reality. Britain, Japan, South Korea, and the EU all say the White House promised them exemptions in trade talks, but hasn't yet signed them into law. Bloomberg's James Woolcock has more from London.
For the Brits, it's steel. Take a listen to Prime Minister Keir Starmer 3 months ago.
Just a few moments ago, I spoke to President Trump, the President of the United States, and I'm really pleased to announce to you, and I wanted to come to you to announce that we've agreed the basis of a historic economic prosperity deal. It will remove tariffs on British steel and aluminium, reducing them to zero.
The UK Prime Minister was very clear, and no one in the US corrected him, but the steel exemption has never been finalised. So the current tariff on UK steel exported to America is 25%. For Japan, South Korea and the European Union, it's the exact same problem, but with cars. Fears are growing. The scale of the US's global trade talks are making delays inevitable and likely causing more economic damage. In London, James Woolcock, Bloomberg Radio.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Lisa Mateo.
I'm Karen Moskow, and this is Bloomberg.